Congratulations, Christine, tying for third with your question. And your question, when you are lost, even though you have so many things to feel grateful for, but still feel so disconnected, what's the best way to find your true self and your path in life? I think that I've pretty much covered your question in my responses to questions number 1 and 2, so do check out those videos. But I'd like to spend a little more time with this because it's something that I'm often asked, and to look a little deeper into how we get disconnected and how to find our way back to our center, back to our path, back to feeling connected. One sure way that we feel lost lies within our inability to be loving and patient with ourselves. We spend a lot of time and energy caring for others, trying to meet their needs. We work to stick with schedules, try to get things done in a certain time, in a certain way. We work to be productive, supportive, effective, but sometimes no matter how hard we try, we fall short. When we fail to live up to the expectations we've put upon ourselves, or those that we've allowed to be imposed upon us, we end up feeling dissatisfied and disconnected. It's so important to be compassionate with ourselves, especially when we're feeling disconnected from self-dissatisfaction, self-scorn, self-scrutiny. And that separates us from our higher self and from a higher power that I believe to be the most incredible source of unconditional love. Would that we could love ourselves half as much as we are loved. Heck, we even expect ourselves to walk our spiritual path perfectly. Here's something that helps me pull out of that loop of self-judgment when I'm doing something that's not perfect. I pull up an image in my mind of a little girl I knew. She's in 4th grade. She's sitting at her desk in her bedroom one evening, and she's recopying a composition over and over and over again. She's having to try harder because she's a lefty in a right-handed world. She wants the handwriting to be perfect. And then I look over at the wastebasket by the side of her desk, and it's overflowing with crumpled up, lined notebook paper. I feel her sadness and her frustration. She's trying so hard. And then I flash to her classroom the next day, where she's showing up tired and discouraged. She hands in her assignment. And later in the day, the teacher announces that she's going to read one of the compositions. As she reads it, the words flow magically. The students are transfixed. And then she turns to the student and says, "Louise, this is beautiful." Recalling this memory reminds me of the futility in trying to get things perfect. When I come back into the present moment, back to whatever it is I'm doing, I have a refreshed perspective. I feel free, I feel loved, and it's as if it opens the floodgates to creativity. Try archiving a scene from your past and keep it handy when you need a reminder. The other thing about perfectionism is that it can cause us to have unreasonable expectations of others, constantly feeling dissatisfied or critical. For myself, I find that when I'm kinder to myself, more forgiving, I'm so much happier with others. Years ago, I was driving my children to a family gathering. Halfway there, we remembered that we forgot the board game that we were assigned to bring for the evening's entertainment. Realizing that we'd gone too far to turn back, my kids expressed their extreme disappointment. I remember saying to them, life's not about getting it perfect and remembering everything all the time. It's about figuring out how to work around things, how to adjust, how to adapt when things don't work out. We ended up playing an impromptu game of charades, and it was more fun and we laughed harder than we ever could have imagined. Here's my suggestion. When you go to bed at night, give yourself a hug. Really give yourself a hug. At least half of the hugs that you've given your children or your pet that day. If you have neither, lie there for a moment and think about someone whom you love dearly. Send love out to that person, and then feel it circling back around to you. And give yourself a hug. Much love.